Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, Season 13, War 2. After a pretty awful showing for everybody involved last war, we needed a bounce-back win in War 2. So we're going to go in with Void Namor and Warlock, who I ranked up to rank 5 during the off-season, so get a chance to play with him around today. So the first fight up is a Void on long-distance relationship. I've only seen this combination a few times. I think I've made this solo 2 or 3, and I've died to it once before. So you see I am boosting up mostly for health purposes, a little bit of attack, a little bit of special damage, just because the idea here is you want to end it as quickly as possible to avoid getting degen to death from the weakness node, or the weakness debuffs rather. So the fight goes pretty well. You can see this guy is running suicide, so he does have a bit of inflated attack, but I do get some nice bleed damage on him at the start. Mistime that special 2 projectile and take that to the face, and now I'm in a bad place because I have to wait out the power sting, so I'm trying to stay as aggressive as possible, and you can see I'm healing back a little, since I'm returning all of that degen back to him, and those debuffs are each giving me willpower healing. So healed up, as much as I possibly could. And right here, so right after this S1, my input is going to drop. My parry doesn't work, and there we go. So that sucks. That definitely wasn't me. I know when I've made a mistake. That was absolutely the game just not registering my parry. So that sucks. So I had to heal back up and go in, and it was only another 7 hits to kill him off. So another disappointing start to the war, at least, but try not to let me get that down. So even more disappointing was the fact that apparently there is a bug in the new iOS where the screen recording will tell you that it's recording, but it's actually not recording. So my next 3 fights, I actually got the solos on all of them. Yeah, they didn't record. So the Korg fight was standard Korg with Namor. A fight where I finally remembered to not screw up the special 2 after the Imperious Rex triggered. And then I had maybe one of the best domino fights I've ever had. I successfully landed like 8 parries in a row. It was unbelievable. I was sitting there dumbfounded. And then there was an unduped thing on Buffet who was really easy. So, all right. So next up, we're all the way up on mini boss, or on Boss Island rather. And this is a Sinister on Strike Back Recovery. Void probably could have done this fight a lot faster, but I was really curious to see how Warlock would do. I'm not sure how how his specials, since they have multiple hits, would interact with the strike back node, so I was a little gun shy here about using my special attacks. The other thing is that even though Warlock's special 3 has a total power drain on it, it does, I believe, consume the infections because it also regenerates your health. But more importantly, if you push them to their SP3 with your SP3, there is a brief moment where they can actually throw their SP3 before their power starts draining. So it's not really safe to use if you are in a pinch. So really what I'm doing here is I'm just relying on all basic attacks. I need to keep my infection up so that he doesn't heal when I crit him. And then, when he does regen, you can see he's getting some degen, which is, a little helpful. It's not much, but every little bit helps. So yeah, like I said, Void would have handled this fight a lot easier, I think. It would have, maybe wouldn't have got him heal blocked, but the degen would have been much faster and maybe easier. And I wouldn't have had to worry about holding my special attacks because I wouldn't be giving him power with strike back when I have the petrifies up. But any excuse to try out a new champion, especially one that I spent so many resources ranking up and awakening and whatnot, is good. So a lot of hits here, and I'm not running suicides. Obviously, I'm not boosted for this fight. So you can see, Warlock is a fantastic utility champ, but as most of the reviews and gameplay out there might have mentioned, his damage it isn't stellar. And, he still gets the job done. And in a normal questing environment where you don't have a timer, I don't really mind the longer fight if it's a good counter. So yeah. So we're going to finish off Mr. Sinister here with a SP3, just for a little cool finish here. So the in lieu of not having extra fights to show you, I wanted to kind of talk about a conversation that went on in our battle group. So there was a Havok on Safeguard, and we were talking about whether or not Dr. Voodoo, who somebody had brought along, would be a good counter, because Voodoo has a lot of energy damage to his attacks. So I went in and dueled a Havok, max rank, max sig, with my 4-star Voodoo. And so my strategy here is really just to get to the S2 to power burn. So the energy attacks, once you have the power burn up, are going to feed him charges, but then the power burn, because it's draining his power, is going to immediately remove them all. So if you can really survive until you can get him power burned, then you're pretty much in good shape here. So I'm keeping Brother Daniel on myself. Got a few plasma charges on myself, but now you can see I'm giving him a ton of charges, but then immediately removing them every time I hit into him. And now from here, if this was a Safeguard node, I would then try and get the poison up. So on 38 hits, going to convert all those Laos into poison, and this would have done a significant amount of work on a Safeguard node. I think the power burn damage would bypass the Safeguard node too. So yeah, Dr. Voodoo actually, if you play him correctly and avoid the SP1 with by holding your block after you do 4 hits on Havok, then Dr. Voodoo actually is a pretty good counter. All right, so as you can see here, the war did end in our favor. As bad as the first man, I can't talk today. As bad as the first war was for us, this one was actually, that much better for us, I guess. So I think they only had 2 clears, so we had a lot of extra points from defenders remaining. So a nice bounce back win for us. That's what I expected of everybody in the alliance. And even though I had the 1 death, I'm not going to beat myself up over that one, because I don't really feel like I made a mistake there. So, all right, if you have liked what you've seen today, please help out the channel by dropping a like, or let me know how your war went in War 2 in the comments section below. And if you want to see more Alliance War gameplay, go ahead and hit subscribe. I've been trying to upload, just kind of branch out and do other things other than just Alliance War stuff. So hopefully more of that to come. And that's about it. So until then, see you next time.